What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. In today's video we are checking out one of the latest mini PCs from GEEKOM. The one that we have here today, it's called the GEEKOM Mini IT13, and even though this is tiny, because you can see it for yourself, it is quite small, it is in fact quite powerful as well. This machine is powered by the Intel Core i9-13900H. This is a chipset that has 14 cores, 20 threads, and of course the Iris Xe graphics. My unit also has 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM and a 2TB SSD for storage. And with that being said, let me quickly show you the box and what comes in the box with the mini PC. Alright, so we get a good looking box. Inside the box, of course, you're gonna find the mini PC itself. We also have an HDMI cable, so you can connect this to a monitor or something like that. There is a power supply, an 120 watt power supply in the box there as well. You're also gonna find a VESA mount, so you could mount this on the back of a monitor, for example, this way it's kind of out of the way, you don't really hear it anymore. So there is that option as well. We also have some screws in there too, and a small user manual. However, this is easy to use, it's like any other PC out there. So that's pretty much all that you're gonna find in the box with it. Taking a look at the device itself, well, yes, this is pretty tiny, and yes, it does look like most other mini PCs that we've been seeing over the past few years, but it is small enough that you can actually hold this in your palm, and as I said, with that VESA mount, you can actually mount it under a desk, behind a monitor or something like that, so you can easily hide it because it's that small. Now, the top side here is removable. If you pull on the back here, you can actually remove the top side. Here we have the fan, and we also have the Wi-Fi antennas on the side here. Now, since we are talking about the fan, I might as well show you how the fan sounds under full load. So let me play that clip for you quickly. So depending how close or how far you are to it, you may hear or you may not hear that fan. For example, if I do have the mini PC this close to me, of course I'm gonna hear the fan, but if I would have this mounted behind the monitor, I'm not gonna be able to hear that fan. And then you can also put this top side back easily. Alright, so on the sides here we have kind of like a metallic mesh grill, I'm gonna say. So that's how the mini PC will pull air in. And we're starting with the front here. So on the front here we have the power button, we also have a 3.5mm headphone jack, we have two Type A USB 3.2 Gen 2 ports. On one side we have a Kensington lock slot, and on the other side of the mini PC we have a slot for an SD card. That SD card slot is definitely a great addition, mostly if you plan on importing videos to the mini PC and stuff like that. Moving to the back side of the device, there we have two USB 4.0 Type-C that support display out and can do 8K out. We also have two HDMI ports, these are HDMI 2.0s. We also have a Type A USB 2 and another Type A USB 3.2 Gen 2, and of course we have our 2.5 gigabit LAN and of course the power port. So this device, you can basically have up to 4 displays connected to it. 2 of them you'd connect from those USB-C ports on the back, and the other 2 from the HDMI ports on the back there. The 2 USB-C ports can output 8K and the other 2 HDMI ports can output 4K. So if you wanted to, yes, you can have 4 monitors connected to this mini PC. Alright, on the back here we have 4 screws, and if you do remove these 4 screws, you can access the insides of the mini PC. So the first thing you'll notice is the fact that we have room for a 2.5-inch SATA drive in there, and we also have room for a SATA 3 SSD M.2. So you can expand that internal storage quite easily. The internal storage, so the SSD that we have inside this particular one comes with a 2TB Lexer drive SSD. That one is also removable, so if you want, you can also upgrade that one. And since we are talking about that internal storage, these are the speeds that we get for that internal storage, for those of you that are wondering. Underneath that 2TB SSD, you can also see the Wi-Fi 6E module, just in case you're wondering if that's removable or not. Well, that's built in, so you're not going to be able to change that or modify it in any way. Now, the RAM that we get inside this device, so this particular device comes with 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM. Now, this mini PC actually accepts DDR5 RAM. So if you wanted to, you could actually remove those 2 sticks of RAM that we have inside this device and upgrade those as well. So the RAM is upgradable inside this machine as well. So you could have up to 64 gigs of RAM inside this machine. And just in case I didn't mention this earlier, the mini PC comes pre-installed out of the box with the Windows 11 Pro. So you're not gonna have to purchase a separate license for Windows that comes pre-installed on the mini PC. I wanted to make this clear because I've seen that comment on some previous mini PCs videos that I've made. So no, you do not have to purchase a separate Windows license for this device. Now, what would one of these videos be without some benchmark scores? So let's start by checking out some benchmark scores. So first I ran the Geekbench benchmark test, and these are the scores that we get on the Geekbench benchmark test. Basically, we have the multi-core score there and the single core score. I've also ran the Cinebench R23 benchmark test on it, and these are the scores once again for the multi-core and the single core scores that we get. But there is also a Cinebench, a newer Cinebench benchmark test, and I've also ran that one. I was curious to see the scores that we get at, just for future reference whenever I test other mini PCs. So those are the scores that we get for those as well. So pretty good scores for this particular mini PC. So of course, with benchmark scores like that, you can definitely expect some really good performance from this device, and that's exactly what you're gonna get. So for day-to-day usage, whenever you're around checking your email, you're watching some YouTube videos, maybe you're writing a Word document, you are watching a video from a hard drive or something like that, basically anything that you're gonna do on this device is extremely quick. There is really no lag for anything that I've done on it, including gaming, but we'll talk about gaming later on. So really good performance from such a tiny device. So as I said, no matter what you do on it, it is extremely quick. I was also quite impressed by how well the device does for video editing as well. So for video editing, I used DaVinci Resolve, and I had a 4K file in there. I believe the file was like 8-9 gigs in size, so fairly large 4K file, I'm gonna say. So editing that, scrolling through the timeline and stuff like that is done flawlessly. Now, if you do add another 4K clip on top of that, you will get a bit of lag for a few seconds, but after that it does work good. The export times for an 11-minute video was also about 10 minutes. So quite impressed by how well this does for video editing as well. And not only this does good for day-to-day tasks and video editing, it also does really good for gaming. Actually, unexpectedly good for gaming, I'm gonna say. So next I'm gonna show you 3 games that I played. I'm only gonna show you like a minute of each game. One of them, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the FPS showing on the screen. I'm not sure why, but you can definitely see that it does run really good for that game as well. So let me play those 3 games and I will be right back. And as you've seen for yourself, the device does great for gaming, it does great for video editing, and of course for day-to-day tasks like watching videos on YouTube, watching videos from a hard drive, browsing the web, and so on. Now, for the things that I've done with the device, I haven't experienced this, but I'm assuming that like any other computer out there, if you do run some graphic intensive tasks on it, there may be some thermal throttling happening. Basically, the fan inside the device cannot keep up with the heat generated by the tasks that you're basically doing on the computer. So that's normal. It hasn't happened to me for the things that I've done, but yes, I think that it is possible to happen in different scenarios. On the back here, we have the exhaust hole. There is a lot of airflow as well, so that fan inside the device does really work in there, so it can keep the device cool. And of course, the harder the device works, the higher that fan will rev, so you may hear that fan more or less depending where you have this placed. That's why I said having it under the desk or behind the monitor is probably the best, because you're not gonna hear that fan at all. So overall, yes, this is the most powerful mini PC that I got to try up until now, and I was quite surprised to see how well everything works on it. As always, I will leave some links in the video's description so you can check it out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.